X is going to happen, sana yung ating mga kapalpakan noon hindi na mangyari, di ba?
The same issue was underwent an investigation by the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee sometime in December of 2022. And maybe it would be good to refer the Honorable Chairperson to the full comprehensive report that was approved by the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee.
So yung pag-uusap natin katulad nito, na kung saan pinag-uusapan po natin ang tungkol sa mga issues regarding the pandemic, cannot be allowed anymore under Article 45. Alam ba natin to? They call it infodemic. Bawal ang mga disinformation. And this really scary. Nakakatakot to. Hindi lang kami yung mga parliamentarians sa Pilipinas ang nagsasabi nito, but all over the world. Si Senator Ron Johnson ng Republican sa States, si Congresswoman Green, si Congressman I forgot the name, si Chip Roy, they are all they're getting together to fight this one world health protocol na pwede nating ipaglaban. Kasi what we wanted is that hindi lang tayo nire-represent ng isang unelected person, but we have to be a part of it because we are elected. Di ba? So yun ang gusto namin iparating sa inyo, that we have been to the past of the pandemic and what we have experienced. Naging bahagi ito ng pupuntahan natin sa susunod.
Going to happen, God forbid, sana hindi dumating dito. Because I remember during the time when the news about COVID was happening in other parts of the world, we were the only ones who welcomed the tourists from China, if you recall, no? While I think that was the time when the COVID began to spread like wildfire in the country, when we allowed China Airlines to ferry a passenger who was suspected to have been affected by COVID. And I'm sure the Secretary is very well aware of this. Now, Mr. Chairman, may mga katanungan kasi na I think we should all be worried about, because if indeed the disease X is going to happen, sana yung ating mga kapalpakan noon hindi na mangyari, di ba? First, when there was a spread of COVID, the immediate reaction of the government was to impose lockdowns, correct? So when we had lockdowns, then it somehow curtailed the spread, but it has limited economic activities and etc. etc. Then IATF said that you have to be all vaccinated so that you can move around, miikot kayo, makapasok kayo sa trabaho. So government entered into agreements, para makabili tayo ng mga bakuna, yung mga testing kits na yan, yung una. Kasi nung una, hindi, this is new kaya nga novel sabi natin, novel But when things were unfolding as to the IATF's policies, Mr. Chairman, merong isang provision doon na I think still remains to be questionable, yung non-disclosure agreement nung nag-supply sa atin ng bakuna. And I think the signatory to that was the former secretary. Is that correct, Mr. Secretary?
Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, the signatories were the Department of Finance Secretary, the Chairman of the National Task Force, and the DOH Secretary. And yan pong non-disclosure agreement na yan, that has been resolved. Lahat po ng mga kontrata, the same issue was underwent an investigation by the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee sometime in December of 2022. And maybe it would be good to refer the Honorable Chairperson to the full comprehensive report that was approved by the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. So yung mga reservations about the non-disclosure, we were accused of being opaque, we were not transparent. These have already been all addressed, Your Honors. And so The report is there with the Senate, and you can very well access it. It's
May I
a public
know,
record.
Mr. Chairman, since the good secretary has already mentioned that, maybe it would be best for the secretary to educate us as to the summary of this report. Kasi bakit to importante ito? Importante ito because this has caused an uproar, no, in the community. And you very well know that, Mr. Secretary. Attending the Blue Ribbon Committee does not cure whatever defects, legal defects there are in this contract. I'm not saying there are defects in this contract. Ang ano lang natin kasi if this disease X happens and things like this that we felt are not really aimed to address and solve the problem of the pandemic as what happened to us in the COVID experience, eh bakit gagawin natin yung ulit? And then we will tell us, kasi may Blue Ribbon Committee report na yan eh. Diba? So what does the committee report say? In brief, Mr. Secretary.
Well,
Mr. Chairman, sorry.
Secretary is respond.
Mr. Chairman, yung non-disclosure agreement is not something that the Philippine government, the procuring entity, invented. This is an imposition of the vaccine manufacturing companies. And if we did not agree to the non-disclosure agreement, the essence of that agreement is so that yung kanilang intellectual property, hindi ito basta-basta makuha ng kung sino-sino. No? So, ang sabi nila, kung hindi kayo papayag sa non-disclosure agreement, at least initially, no, we won't sell you the vaccines. So, wala tayong magawa doon. Alaga na mapabayaan natin mamatay ang mga mamamayan natin. Hindi natin makuha ang bakuna samantalang mga ibang mundo, lahat ng mga bansa. So, ang ayon naman sa non-disclosure agreement as an imposition of the vaccine manufacturing company. And we were desperate kasi syempre ayaw naman natin na dumami ang mamamatay sa Pilipinas. Mahirap naman po yun. Hindi ba kung magmamatigas tayo, sasabihin po natin, hindi, ayaw namin yan. Bawa sa amin yan na non-disclosure agreement ninyo. We'll trash it. Hindi naman po ganun ang realidad. Ang realidad po, talagang tayo ay nagkakanda, talagang we were desperate. I keep saying that we wanted to make sure that our people are protected. That was the first and paramount consideration in all of these. Kaya nga nakafocus tayo eh. And again, I thank the Congress for really putting together this very good landmark legislation. Thank you.
Barbers.
Understand perfectly the situation during that time when the national government was really bent on getting that vaccine here. Pero hindi naman tayo limited sa Sinovac eh. So if the Sinovac was the only company that will provide vaccine to us and impose this requirement, bakit hindi tayo tumingin sa iba? Second, di ba? Kaya nga, kumuha tayo ng napakarami. Ilan yung natapon? Ilan yung hindi nagamit?
I do not have the stat on that right now. But in fact, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, yung nag-impose niyan ay yung Pfizer. Hindi po Sinovac. Yung Sinovac man, I can't really recall the exact provisions of the contract. But ang alam ko, if I remember right, Pfizer and I think Sanofi wanted the non-disclosure agreement. And as I have explained, Mr. Chairman, yun ay to protect their their intellectual rights over the vaccines.
Kaya nga, Mr. Secretary, if I may,
Yes,
interject lang
yes,
ako.
Mr.
No?
Chairman.
Aside from the non-disclosure that we are trying to talk about, ang isa pang mabigat na issue that we need to tackle about it is yung pong, yung tinatawag na immunity from liability. Kasi immune sila in accordance with Section 8 of Republic Act 11525. Lahat ng mga manufacturer, wala silang liability kung magkakaroon man ng adverse effect yung mga vaccines. And it's happening. 113,000 were recorded by FDA. FDA, am I right? As an FDA. FDA, am I right that there is an adverse effects after immunization of 113,000 plus?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I confirm.
And there's serious side effect of 10,000 plus? Diba, according to your submission?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
That's correct. And if that is correct, that there is a 113,000 of adverse effect after immunization, then the immunity from liability that is written in Section 8 of Republic Act 11525 is somehow need to be amended. Kailangan talaga natin ma-amend na dapat meron silang responsibility and liability. And alam mo, kagabi nagbabasa lang ako nung sa States, sa US. They filed a bill, Liability Act or Liable Act. Kasi immune din sila sa liability. Lahat ng manufacturers sa buong mundo that sold yung mga vaccines ay walang liability. So ngayon, ang nagsasuffer dito, yung ating PhilHealth, dahil naglagay pa tayo ng indemnity fund para na sa ganon, kung merong magyayaring problema sa ating mga mamayan, tayo pa, pera pa natin ang ibang i-indemnify doon sa mga injured vaccine people. So, Congressman Barbers, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I was about to go to that next question, yung tungkol dun sa immunity, no? But since you covered that up already, so again, going back, no, ang pinupunto lang naman dito is that, okay, nakakatakot kasi yung disease. I'm sure all of you doctors or medical practitioners agree that this is not something that we should ignore. Kasi nga, if yung COVID, inignore natin eh. Wala yan, papasukin nyo lang yung mga China. O yan, dumating. Nung dumating yung Chinese, o di kumalat, marami tayong namatay. Now, with that immunity thing that was mentioned by the chair, where PSA admitted na nagkaroon ng cause of excessive deaths. Di ba? And this is exactly the reason why we're here today. We're investigating the cause of these excess deaths that happened during the period where the nation was under a COVID situation. And we don't want to see this again happening soon, so that we will now be prepared. Unfortunately, it was a painful lesson. Marami namatay. Almost 1 million ang namatay. So, Mr. Chair, that was just the point I'd like to raise. No, maybe aside from looking into the treaty that we have signed or we will be signing or we have participated, we should also look into the internal procedures and processes in the event of another pandemic, global pandemic, just like what happened kaya nga ngayon, at least alam natin sino yung mga competent na pwedeng humawak niyan. That's all, Mr. Chair.